I spent 16 years serving this country. I led counterterrorism operations for the White House. I worked inside systems most people never see. And through all of it, one thing never changed. My loyalty was never to a president, never to a party, only to the Constitution. What happened today inside the Senate Intelligence Committee wasn't a normal hearing. It was a moment that exposed something much bigger. Just minutes earlier, Senator Mazie Hirono asked FBI Director Kash Patel one simple question, a question no one in that room expected. How many FBI employees have left since January 20th? Retired, resigned, fired, forced out, just a number. And Patel couldn't give one. Watch what happens next. Because the way Hirono presses him, the way he freezes, and the line he eventually crosses, it changes everything. This story is only beginning, and what's coming could shake the FBI to its core. Let me paint the scene. Wood-paneled walls. C-SPAN cameras rolling, the Senate Intelligence Committee in full session. Kash Patel walked in with his usual confidence, shoulders back, chin high, the look of someone who believes he can handle anything. 3 lawyers behind him, aides on both sides. A thick folder in front of him he never once opened. He's done this many times before. He knows how to stall, how to deflect, how to run out the clock. For the first 30 minutes, everything was routine. Budget questions, counterterrorism updates, resources for field offices. Patel gave polished non-answers and checked his watch. Then Senator Hirono took the microphone, and you could feel the shift. That quiet in the room that signals something serious is coming. Director Patel, she said calmly, almost coldly, there have been major personnel changes at the FBI since President Trump took office. I want to understand the scale of it. How many employees have left since January 20th? I need a number. Patel didn't blink. We'll provide that for the record, Senator. A classic dodge. But Hirono wasn't letting him escape. What is the number now? Patel paused. Not off the top of my head. I want to make sure you get the correct figure. Then Hirono leaned in. Would it surprise you if it were in the thousands? 5,000, for example? The room went silent. 5,000 isn't turnover. 5,000 is a purge. Patel's face stayed calm, but his hands slammed flat against the table, knuckles whitening. I don't believe that number is accurate, he said. Hirono shot back instantly. But you don't know. And that's when everything started unraveling. She wasn't asking randomly. She was building a case. Since January 20th, how many special agents and analysts have left or been fired? We'll get you the numbers, Patel repeated. Then he added something chilling. Anyone who retired did so voluntarily. Anyone terminated failed to meet standards and loyalty to the Constitution. But he never explained those standards, never explained who decided what loyalty meant. Hirono didn't argue. She documented. Next question. How many executive leaders, assistant directors, agents in charge have left or been fired? Again, no answer. She cut him off. So you don't have that either. Next question. Which FBI field office has lost the most personnel? Patel shifted. Well, actually, every office received additional agents. We've increased staffing nationwide. A deflection. Loss turned into gain, but Hirono wasn't buying it. So you're saying no office lost anyone? In Hawaii, we added agents, Patel insisted. And across the country, we've made historic increases. Then he crossed a line. When you talk about firings, he snapped, you're looking for a media moment and a fundraising clip, and I'm not giving it to you. The room exploded. Gasps from the gallery. Reporters scrambling. Senators staring at each other. An FBI director had just accused a sitting senator of staging a political show. Hirono stayed calm. I simply want to know how many people have left, she said, and right now your testimony sounds like nobody has. That's not what I said, Patel fired back. You didn't like the answer. Keep asking, and I'll keep telling you we'll provide the numbers. The tension was electric. This wasn't political theater anymore. This was personal. 2 people who clearly did not trust each other, locked in real time. Hirono pressed once more. You said some offices received increases. Which ones received the most? Patel answered, California and Florida. He repeated it, California and Florida. And here's what no one in that room said out loud. Those are the 2 states with the largest immigrant populations. The 2 states where Trump's deportation agenda is being enforced most aggressively. And suddenly, the personnel shifts at the FBI didn't look random at all. It was becoming clear what was really happening. The FBI wasn't being strengthened to fight terrorism. It wasn't being expanded to stop cyber warfare or foreign espionage. It was being repurposed, turned into an immigration enforcement machine, and everyone in that room understood it. Senator Hirono shifted direction. Director Patel, she said, you often describe FBI agents as cops, but Congress created the FBI to handle missions that local police cannot: terrorism, cybercrime, foreign intelligence threats. I want to evaluate how the Bureau is performing its specialized responsibilities under your leadership. She didn't pause. The FBI is the lead federal agency responsible for preventing domestic and international terrorism, she continued. And yet, at the start of this year, the senior officials overseeing national security and intelligence were forced out. Who replaced them? Patel answered instantly. Highly qualified professionals, he said, who are now leading efforts to arrest over 23,000 violent criminals this year alone, double the previous numbers. Then he stopped mid-thought. He realized he was about to name the people who had taken over. I'm not going to provide names, he said sharply. Why not? Hirono asked. So you can attack them, Patel replied. But this wasn't about personal attacks. This was about who was now responsible for protecting the country from terrorists and spies. Hirono pushed further. Counterterrorism agents were reassigned to assist with immigration enforcement. Have those experts returned to the roles they were trained for? Yes or no? Patel began to spin. FBI agents' primary responsibility is whatever they're assigned. Have they returned? Hirono interrupted. His frustration finally surfaced. You're not letting me answer, he snapped. Why don't you just use the rest of your time to give a speech? I'm not asking for a speech, Hirono shot back. It's a yes or no. They never left, Patel said. She leaned forward. That's your testimony? Yes, he repeated. And just like that, she moved on, locking his words into the record. Next came cybersecurity. The FBI leads federal investigations into cyber attacks, Hirono said. Since January, the top official over the criminal and cyber divisions has left, along with the head of cyber operations. Who replaced them? Patel pivoted instantly. The cyber division is performing exceptionally, he said. Over 400 arrests this year, nearly 200 convictions, a 40+% increase. Impressive numbers, but not an answer. I want names, Hirono pressed. Extremely capable individuals are now in those roles. Who are they? You're not getting that information, Patel said. And there it was, the real clash. Hirono wanted accountability, real people, real leadership, real transparency. Patel was hiding behind statistics, slogans, and patriotic messaging. Her tone shifted. The FBI was designed to be the tip of the spear against terrorism, she said quietly. But instead of focusing on terrorists, hackers, and spies, you are turning it into a national police force and immigration task unit. Then she pivoted again. You've also changed physical requirements for new recruits, including mandatory pull-ups that disproportionately exclude women due to physiological differences. Are these pull-ups now required? Patel defended it. Agents carry firearms in the field. They chase criminals. Physical standards matter. If you can't do a pull-up, you shouldn't be arresting suspects. There are concerns these requirements are excessive, Hirono said. One pull-up is not excessive, Patel fired back. Medical exemptions exist. But the message underneath was obvious. The new standards would quietly push out women, older applicants, and non-traditional recruits. The FBI wasn't just being redirected, it was being reshaped. Hirono took a breath. I am deeply alarmed by what is happening to the FBI under your leadership, she said. Experienced employees are leaving in massive numbers through early retirements, forced terminations, and reassignments. Decades of institutional knowledge are walking out the door. Thousands have already gone. And as long as you remain in control of this agency, I fear that number will only continue to rise. She paused. And then she delivered the sentence that would define the entire hearing. Mr. Patel, Hirono said slowly, before the Senate voted on your nomination, I stated that your primary qualification appeared to be absolute loyalty to President Trump. And based on what we're seeing now, I fear that loyalty is still what's driving your leadership of the FBI. The room froze, not the usual Capitol Hill quiet. Real silence. No papers moving. No whispered side conversations. Just tension. Patel sat rigid, jaw clenched, palms pressed against the table. And for a brief moment, just a few seconds, the performance cracked. You could see it. Anger, pressure, exhaustion from holding the line for hours. Then he spoke. "Mr. Chairman," Patel said firmly, his voice sharper now, "that statement is completely false. You can erase my record if you want, but I've served multiple administrations. I was a public defender, a national security prosecutor, a House Intelligence Committee staffer, deputy director of intelligence, chief of staff at the Department of Defense. I led counterterrorism operations for the White House. That's only part of my 16 years in public service. My loyalty was never political then, and it isn't now. My loyalty is to the Constitution." It was a polished response, well practiced, a resume speech wrapped in patriotism. But here's what mattered. Hirono wasn't questioning his past. She was exposing his present, and his present looked like this. Thousands of FBI employees gone. Senior leadership pushed out. Counterterrorism specialists reassigned. Cyber divisions hollowed. Recruitment standards quietly reshaped. All under a director whose strongest credential was loyalty to the president who appointed him. The hearing kept going, but nobody was really listening anymore. Because one question was echoing in everyone's mind. How many people have left the FBI since January 20th? The number Patel refused to give. Within minutes, the footage went viral. Social media erupted. News networks cut straight to the exchange. And inside FBI offices across the country, agents were almost certainly watching, wondering, am I next? What does loyalty really mean now? Who's actually in control of this agency? And this is why it matters. For decades, Americans argued about the FBI. Some loved it, some criticized it, but nearly everyone believed one thing. It was professional, experienced, protected from direct political control. That era is ending. Under Patel, the FBI is becoming something different, an agency where allegiance outweighs expertise, where immigration enforcement replaces counterterrorism as priority, where basic oversight questions are treated as political attacks. And the most alarming part? No one knows the real numbers. Hirono suggested thousands. Patel wouldn't confirm or deny. It could be less. It could be far more. But the fact that the FBI director wouldn't answer, on the record, tells you everything. When the hearing ended, Patel slipped out a side entrance. No press statements. Hirono stayed behind, speaking to reporters, repeating her warnings about the destruction of FBI expertise. And right now in Washington, staffers are almost certainly drafting subpoenas, preparing follow-up hearings, because this isn't over. What Hirono did wasn't just tough questioning, it was documentation. She placed on record that the FBI director refuses to disclose how many employees have been removed. She confirmed leadership purges. She highlighted the reassignment of national security experts. She challenged the new hiring barriers. She directly accused Patel of political loyalty. And Patel validated every concern, not with answers, but with deflections. Statistics instead of transparency. Accusations instead of accountability. Patriotic speeches instead of data. 2 minutes. That's all it took. 2 minutes for Senator Hirono to expose what's happening inside the FBI. 2 minutes to ask the question Patel couldn't answer. How many people have left? And that silence, that refusal, will follow him. Because now every firing, every forced retirement, every reassignment will be measured against the number he wouldn't give. The truth is coming out, one hearing at a time, one unanswered question at a time. If you want to follow where this story leads, stay connected. When the subpoenas hit, when the real figures emerge, you'll hear it here first. Share this story. This conversation needs to grow. And remember, this wasn't the first time Patel dodged these questions. Just last month, similar concerns were raised in Congress with the same evasive responses. Watch that exchange too. Once you do, everything that happened in this hearing will make even more sense. Stay tuned.